to make phone calls. I know the Speaker of the National Assembly did the same, and we have answers before we continue transacting this kind of disrespect to the Senate and to you, Mr. Speaker, because you are the leader of the third arm of government. You must be respected. Even yesterday I was surprised, a junior principal secretary trying to undermine your office, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker has a right to meet any diplomat, and Parliament all over the world represents the diplomats of that country. In fact, this Senate requires, we need an apology from the Principal Secretary of Foreign Relations, who made some very serious comments on our Speaker. Our Speaker has every right to meet any dignitary in this world because he's representing an arm of government. So this is a further confirmation of disrespect to this Parliament by the executive, and I think I want to fully agree that we need to suspend this sitting, or we cause the suspension of this sitting the way we did it yesterday until our matter is addressed, Mr. Speaker, and forever if the matter is not addressed.
Senator Gloria. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think I want to reiterate that the Senate is actually being disrespected. Yet again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know we are the upper house. And every single time I tell people that, no, I sit in the upper house, I expect, Mr. Speaker, that the upper house is respected equally as the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, a lot of people don't know, but nominated senators, we don't have an operational fund, but we have employees. Today, actually 20 minutes ago I checked, and my staff have not been paid. So, Mr. Speaker, for me, I want to call upon Parliamentary Service Commission, because they also have to come and give us a report and tell us, so that before we start saying the executive or who, Parliamentary Service Commission should be able to tell us if they have received money from the exchequer, and if they have not, or what is the position, Mr. Speaker. And it's very sad today that I don't see any commissioners in the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are always complaining about our welfare. We are always complaining about, personally I've been complaining about my office, about the welfare, about just the work environment, Mr. Speaker. But the commissioners are never here to hear our complaints, Mr. Speaker. So, as we are even saying the Parliamentary Service Commission should come and tell us why we don't have our staff paid, Mr. Speaker, I also call upon the commissioners. They need to take this House seriously, Mr. Speaker. Some of us, we can do a better job as commissioners, Mr. Speaker, but because it is our first term, Mr. Speaker, we understand that we have to learn how the things work before we get that job. But Mr. Speaker, every time to be in a House complaining of our welfare, and the commissioners are not in the House, they are always traveling, Mr. Speaker, there's something wrong there. But finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. We are about to close, and I don't think it would be fair for our staff to go for Christmas without their salaries, Mr. Speaker. Some of them, when we tell us ourselves we don't have money, they cannot even imagine how we don't have money. But the truth of the matter is that senators are broke. We don't have money. Some of us, we are owed money in arrears. We are being told, even if for those who travel, they are being told that they can travel, but they use their money, they'll be refunded ahead of time. So, Mr. Speaker, maybe what we are also calling for is transparency on that Senate budget, so that we know, even as we sit here, some of us who don't have an operational fund, we can know that, for instance, Senator Sifuna receives X amount of money for the operation of the office, so that we are able to track and oversight ourselves, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for this opportunity.
Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to assure my sister, Senator Gloria, that I do not receive any preferential treatment from Exchequer. That in fact the amount of money that is assigned for office operations is the same for all the members of this House. Mr. Speaker, if she's not getting money, I can assure her that I'm also not getting money. Today I want to speak as a taxpayer, Mr. Speaker. As members of parliament, we know that we are some of the highest taxpayers in this country as employed people. If the statistics are right, that it's only 1% of Kenyans who earn money, salaries above 100,000 shillings. I've heard it said somewhere. Then, Mr. Speaker, we pay, on average, in taxes, per year alone, higher than 99% of the rest of the country. And, Mr. Speaker, whenever changes to our taxation is implemented, it is implemented immediately. We are already paying for the taxes that were imposed just a few months ago. Then the very least we expect is that we will be facilitated in our jobs. I want to make it clear to the country that senators are not asking for salary increases. You know, you will hear some people going and saying, oh, senators are crying for money. No. This is operations funds that have already been assigned and allocated to the Senate for purposes of facilitating the offices of the senators. And for some reason, the person responsible for disbursing money at Exchequer, at the point at which money has come in and deciding which department gets money and which one doesn't, or which one is not a priority, that person never prioritizes the Senate. In fact, members will remember that our system in here is due for an upgrade. In the budget for last year, we were given 200 billion shillings to upgrade this system that never works, including during important debates and divisions. But, Mr. Speaker, the Senate cannot implement this. We have been told it will be transferred to the next financial year because they are not giving us that money. So, Mr. Speaker,